Okay, Unnamed. Dave, Whitney. I mean, ultimately, just three losers. Three losers. $0, 0 cents. Three losers. Second place, eighth place, 14. I mean,
what's the difference?
That's what I'm saying.
Let me do the ads.
Okay, sure. Talking to the mic.
New one. What?
Talking to the mic. I can't hear you that well.
Is my mic? No, I mean,
You're okay now. Yeah. Okay, good.
Is there something wrong with the sound?
You're okay. Go ahead.
Cook Unity. Reset your routine with Cook Unity for an endless variety of vibrant, healthy meals made by award-winning chefs. Chefs you see on TV in five-star kitchens are the chefs who craft each small batch meal with you in mind, made from local in-season ingredients, sent fresh, not frozen, delivered directly to your door, all at a fraction of cost and time. It's easy to find dishes that align with your goals and enjoy a variety that keep every meal exciting, satisfying. Browse the meal by protein, chef, cuisine, or dietary need to personalize your own menu and find your new favorites. Menus are updated weekly. New chefs are always joining the team, so mealtime will never be boring. Reset your team with convenient, mouth-watering meals crafted with local ingredients by award-winning chefs. Go to cookunity.com/unnamed or enter unnamed before checkout for 50% off your first week. That's 50% off your first week by using code unnamed, or go to cookunity.com/unnamed. Before we get into the show, I need to do something.
What's up?
20 years, Barstool.
Mm-hmm.
I was disrespected more than I would say I have ever been disrespected in 20 years of doing this. I don't have an answer to it yet. I don't know what happened. It took every ounce of willpower for me to wait to talk about this story to this show.
What is this?
Oh, I think I know what he's talking.
You know what it is?
Is Francis? Get Francis on here.
Oh, let's go.
So, all right. After surviving, it's over, right?
Expect to start here.
It's over. Compton comes up to me about 5 p.m. Let's get dinner. You want to do a dinner, Dave? I go, yeah, sure. I'll go to dinner. All right, cool. Go up to talk to Dan for a bit. Come down. People are leaving. I text Will Compton. Are we doing dinner or no? He's like, and here we go. I saved this, so let me pull up the exact exchange. Are we doing a dinner or no? Now, keep in mind, Will asked me to go to dinner. I don't give a fuck.
It was after the reunion, you're saying?
Yes,
not after.
I've never had success, by the way, with the Bussin Boys going to dinner. They don't have basic Europe. So he asked me to go to dinner. I said, are we doing dinner or no? He writes back, about to talk to Whit. I didn't even know what was involved, to figure out what's going on. Just checked into the hotel. An hour goes by. I know these guys. I ordered food on my own, whatever, because I don't trust these guys. But then he writes back to me at 8. No dinner. Francis had us locked into a reservation a few weeks ago and couldn't find wiggle room. I literally wrote back to Compton, dead serious. That's literally negative infinity chance that's a real text. Like, you have a group dinner, you can't add one person, or like, and me, like, I could get your reservation canceled if I want. Like, what are you talking about? You can't add one. He says, Whit will tell you. That was his response. So let me regroup. Will Compton asked me to go to dinner. I'm like, sure, fine. Text him, what's the deal with dinner? I'll let you know in an hour. I got the hotel. Out of the blue, text me, you're out for dinner. Francis made a reservation 2 weeks ago. No wiggle room.
Well,
Whit will, I'm like, this can't be real. Yeah. Whit will, then he's like, Whit will tell you what the deal is. Never heard anything. That's it. I never heard a thing after that.
Good.
What?
Can I say one
ahead.
thing? Can I add one thing? I'm sorry. Francis, you invited me to that very dinner that day.
So what is this dinner?
I mean, he invited me, Dave. He invited me. Yeah, I was invited that day.
Yeah. So let's hear it. What is?
I didn't
this
go,
dinner?
but yeah.
I'm so glad we're addressing this, because you guys aren't the only two people that had an issue with this. I made a reservation.
I think I told you, Francis, at the beginning that this would cause issues.
Just so you know, Francis, you're like, I pulled you off the book if I don't like this answer. So go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I didn't know if that was public, so that's interesting. Secondly, I made a reservation 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the most people that I could get on the reservation was 6. And I reached out to just a bunch of the guys that had been in the house together and said, do you guys want to go grab dinner? And everyone said, sure. And then as things were evolving, like Will asked me if Kirk could come. I said, let me try. Went up to Kirk and I said, do you want to come to dinner? And let me see if I can expand our reservation. And he said, what time is it? And I said, it's at 8:15. And he goes, that's way too late for me. I can't be eating that late. Right. I said, okay. Will never told me anything about you, Dave, wanting to come. And
well, he asked me. I didn't even know there was a dinner plan. Will went out of his way. It's like, you want to go to dinner tonight?
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, if anyone's trusting Will's ability to text,
this does sound like the Will Compton text situation.
We've learned our lesson.
So, did you know I was in this dinner?
No, I didn't. Of course, Dave, I would have fucking burned the restaurant down to create a place for you.
In fairness to Francis, when I talked to Will, he's like, Dave wants to do dinner. So then I said to Francis, I think Dave wants to do dinner too. And then Francis said, like right away, like, we'll get him in.
So then what happened?
I mean, and then Will showed up to the hotel and he's like, he already ate.
I mean, nobody loves Will more than me, but like intellectually, you think Francis is going to say "fuck you" to you?
No,
but it makes no sense.
No, I don't. But how does any of that conversation make any sense? Why didn't he said Whit? His last comment was, "You were going to reach out to me."
Well, he never told me that. What happened was he said, what's up for dinner? I said, Francis has a reservation for 6. I said, does Dave want to go in? Dave want to come? He said, yeah, I think Dave wants to come.
Again, he asked me out of the blue to go to dinner.
Yeah, but then Will never told me to call or text you. I just figured. So I told Francis.
Yeah.
And then
Will is...
This is a Will thing, not a Francis thing.
All right, fine. That's why I had to have him on.
Dave, in fairness, I was the first one to tell Francis that you wanted to come after Will had told me that you wanted to come. And Francis was like frantically like, Dave needs to eat. Dave at dinner. He's coming.
I don't know. Where did you eat?
What was the name?
Monteverde in Chicago.
Because there's no restaurant. I don't want to. I can get into any restaurant basically in the world on a second notice.
Congratulations.
Well, I'm just saying, Kirk, to hear there's no wiggle room.
Well, I don't think Francis is saying that, though.
Once Francis found out that you wanted to come, we were on it, and then Will said,
we got to get Compton on.
We got to get him on anyway, so all right, Francis.
Will's texting game is an absolute
he has no he has no basic decency. This is fine, Francis. You're excused. I figured you would be.
Francis,
that's how mad I was because I couldn't believe
that level of fear from Francis is a participant in last season of Surviving Barstool. Just so you know.
Hold a thumb on that. I just read to you the exact exchange. I have never felt more disrespected in my life, and now I get it. Will Compton.
All right, we'll go with Francis. Let's get Will. Thanks, Francis.
Well, what if he says something? Will Compton doesn't have an ounce of basic decency. He has no.
Well, that's not true.
No, it is true.
Ounce of basic. Well, he's a very nice guy. He's a good.
No, he does. No, he doesn't know like basic. I've gone out with them. If you want to count this as the third time, the first time dinner, they just skipped out on the check. They just got up and left before the bill. Second time they were an hour late. They said, hey, we'll meet you there. They stopped at a party. I got in a fight at the restaurant because they're like, no, we got to wait for them. I go, I'm not fucking waiting. As they came in, I was leaving. To get invited to go to dinner. And I'm like you, Kirk. It was like, all right, it's 8. It's late. But that did not happen. I didn't tell he was eating. I have a whole exchange. He literally invited me to dinner and then writes back, there's no wiggle room. Whit will tell you.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm getting dragged in this. And also, you never told him you were eating, though? You never told him you were all set?
No.
Okay, so in the car, he's like, I go, what about Dave? And then he's like, he already ate.
No. Blatant lie.
That was never said.
Never said. Blatant lie.
Also, is it that difficult for a table of 5 or 6 to be expanded by 1?
No, that's what I'm saying, Kirk. It's insane.
It's like 30 people showed up.
It's quite literally insane.
I agree. I would agree. But I think I'm a Will guy, but I think your anger toward Francis was misdirected.
Hand up.
Yeah.
No, I'm just reading
the
what I
panic
read.
in Francis' eyes when he found out you wanted to come.
I'm just reading what was said to me.
Again, a player in Surviving last year, not afraid of all.
I'm just reading what was said to me. I'm reading exactly what Will Compton wrote.
Where is Will?
Where is he? I don't know. Did this guy?
Maybe he doesn't want to text anymore. He might be thinking of retiring.
Yeah, the texting might be done.
Well, let's get to the other. I mean, we have 5 million Surviving things to get to. So
I hate Will Compton again. I hate him.
Sure. Well, sure. Well, I was texting with you last night, and you think he should have lost his vote.
Yeah, he should have. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that notion.
But
people saying you can do whatever you want, like we played the game the first year and tried to improve it because that was a clear
you and I. Yeah.
rule.
But as Roan said in the wrap-up show, like there was a bunch of texting from the other side to the house too.
Was that Rhea?
I didn't.
So Megan goes no, and Dave, you go I didn't, and Rhea kind of just sat there.
Yeah, so that's illegal too.
Should she lose her 50,000? You should be the winner.
That's an interesting wrinkle. There shouldn't have been. Now, I don't know who she texted or what. Like, is it she's responding to text or she's initiating text to
Even then, she shouldn't. By that letter of the law, she should not respond.
Yeah, it's a little gray if they're sending.
I don't know about you, Whit. I did not send a single text to anybody left in the game. First of all,
the only thing I did that was considered, I guess, offside was when I got eliminated. I said Rico Francis has an idol.
No, but you were in the house.
You were in the game still, in a way. Yeah,
yeah.
I was out of the game, but I was in the house. Also, I will say, like, that game got so heated and like angry and disgusted that I get it. It's like an impossible rule to enforce when the emotions are that high.
Well, the only thing to take is to literally take every single person's phone the entire time. I don't think anybody or very few would play under those rules.
I will say, like, Will, he shouldn't have sent the text. It was a violation. We knew the rules. But Rhea wholly misinterpreted the message.
Big time.
Completely misinterpreted. Will was saying, like, go get him. Like, get rid of this guy and you're going to win this.
Yeah, I mean, she did. She misinterpreted, but the thesis was the same. Will didn't want me to win. I honestly, I think the two most embarrassing games were Will Compton and Kelly Keeks. To me, those were the two people who got played by far the most. Like,
I put Rico up there. I mean, you played Rico. You got him at the end.
Oh, fuck. Rico ended up having a decent tweet saying, like, talking about him giving the idol to Dave is kind of like talking about a regular season loss for a team who makes the Final Four in basketball. He then wrote Final Five in this case. I ended up getting pretty far solely because of that necklace handoff. And if Dickhead Dave had just returned the favor.
But you
asked me that. If I know that,
you have to know.
Kirk, hold on. Let me ask him, Dave. Kirk, if Dave hands off that idol, the immunity necklace to Rico to save him, Dave's convinced the girls vote him out. I say no way because they all needed him there at the final.
No, no.
Kirk, what do you think?
Maybe. I wouldn't have voted. Like, Rico,
I would have saved him, Dave.
Rico would have had to make a move for me to vote for him in the final three. Like,
because
he didn't do
Whitney,
anything.
I know
What
you're
did he
like
do?
not the brightest guy, but that
In this game, no.
That if I give Rico the immunity, that immediately means everybody is on the table and I've broken my alliance.
Yeah, but Rhea needed you in her mind. The whole goal was you in the final.
Yeah, but I could still take her out. Like, I've broken the trust.
I think Rhea's also thinking maybe, like, potentially, hey, if it's me, Mubi, and Megan, I'm gonna win.
Definitely. Like, I was if you guys weren't
Whitney thinking face.
See my brain there? Well, I more mean Dave should have done it. He should have fucking done it all the years. All the years of beating him down.
That's not what this game's about. I hate that shit.
But Kirk, that's what it turned into. That's why he saved, like, Dave was never going to get Rhea. He's talking about chicks in the office leaving the fucking company.
I agree with that. I don't like that either. I don't like that either.
Time out. And that's just the nature of the game. If Rico leaves the company, we're in the black. If
you make money,
chicks in the office leave the company, you know what? I can't pay Rico. So, like, there's differences in them in how I view the world. Now, you can argue maybe I should have hitched my tent to Klemmer and he would have got me as far as Rhea. I don't think so, because I would kill Klemmer at the drop of a hat at the end. Whereas Rhea, I wasn't. It got to the point I thought about it. It got so crazy. But listen, I think I played the right game, the best game, but she's ultimately right because I played a perfect game and you guys just couldn't stomach voting for me.
You told me when I asked you 60-40 Rhea. That to me, I told you, you texted me last night. You said
he said it on the show. I said that to him too last night.
He told me last night, he texted me right away. You're embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for you for voting for Rhea. He texted me after the game.
And him. Both of you guys were like kind of like, yes.
No, not true.
Well, you know, what I said was, had I saw how Rhea was acting in that house, I never would have voted for her. I didn't see the celebration in Rico's face. I didn't see all the crying.
You would have never voted for me, Whit, ever.
Buddy, I walked into that room voting for you.
And you couldn't.
And I grabbed the pen and I said it was like Jimmy Fallon and Peter trying to sign away the season tickets. And so couldn't do it.
The 60-40, Kirk, you cut me off at the end. It is 60-40, but every major decision was mine.
Pink wedding, you're saying, yeah.
The pink wedding, not only that, it's like we agreed on virtually everything, Rhea and I. So Rhea would go do the dirty work, lie, cheat, keep me in the game, and that's great. But if you look at it, it's like, and I tried, Kelly Keegs, it's like, my alliance was in the final, Kelly, not yours. Like,
I get that. Yeah. No, you play. It was very close to me. 50. Like you definitely could have. That's what I said to you.
Like she was. I didn't lie to Kelly. So when I say 60-40, Rhea was doing the behind the scenes grunt work, texting, lying, let's get Dave.
Part of the game.
But I was running the show in my mind. Yeah, I was. Well, yes, like.
You didn't say that. You didn't say that in your
speech. Well, you cut me off. I answer. You go, that's enough, and you walked away. And then my final speech. My final speech was the pink wedding, and I thought you guys were intelligent enough to realize that was the game.
I agree. As I said,
but like Rhea and I don't need major conversations. Who's next? Klemmer, Francis, like Rowan. Like we just went. We'd be like, who is it? We talk for a minute, and then she'd go make sure it was in place. Yeah, she deserved to win based on the fact. She was right. People wouldn't vote for me because I cannot play better, and I didn't win.
Well, I think there was also a tremendous amount of hate for Dan at that time.
That's
her speech certainly got me where I wanted it. So, and I think other people too, because you were winning comfortably when we drove there.
Well, that's not really the game. There's nothing I can do there.
I agree. No, I agree. Emotion played. I told you that emotion played a big factor in it. But also, Rhea, I think she's a deserving winner, as you would have been. Megan, no, but I mean, like Rico and Mincy voted for Megan.
But Rico immediately was like, I can't believe I did that.
But he did it.
But he did it.
That's crazy.
I'm still so mad at Will Compton. I can't even tell you.
For this dinner thing?
Yes.
Rico's complaint.
You really want to go to that fucking dinner?
It has nothing to do with dinner. I was already eating by the time he responded. I'm like you. The second I didn't hear back in 45 minutes, I ordered dinner, but he didn't know that.
Well, I actually went out that same night, a little earlier, 8. With a couple of people, and Whitney saw this later. Klemmer was so fucking drunk, it was unbelievable.
And he snaps on me. He always snaps. Every time I've ever been with this guy, and he's drinking or on 200 milligrams of edibles, he snaps on me. And I guess, yeah, the guy loses his mind. So I brought up The Amazing Race at the reunion show.
Oh, because he has rat race?
Yeah, he gets very defensive.
And he gets so defensive, and I was kind of like. And you know what he said to me? Like, just give it a chance. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll watch it. And then I actually agreed. This is what pissed me off the most at the lobby bar, Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
He said, will you come on the show? I said, you know what? If I can play with Kirk and it's in Boston, I'll do it. He goes, how many days? 1 day. All right, I'm in. Like, buddy, I'm giving you a day of my time. And then I see him later, this fucking drunk Skeletor fucking asshole, and I'm still going to do the game. And I'm like, Klemmer, you do understand, though, that if Dave was to go all in with the budget that they did for Survivor with Amazing Race, even call it Rat Race, like, you might not be in charge. You get that, right?
And what did he say?
He could not comprehend it.
Not even that, Dave. He said if he's not the executive producer of The Amazing Race, he's quitting the company.
Yep.
I can say this as loudly, as clearly, as straightforward. There is 0.0 chance he will be the executive. He may not even be involved in the game. I'm not saying we're doing that, but I don't have an ounce of responsibility to him to make him that game. Like, no one said that about Surviving. Like, Surviving was a couple of years I wasn't involved. Like,
and I said, Klemmer, like, he's like, it's my thing. I brought it here. I'm like, no, buddy, CBS brought it to the world on fucking 8. Like, what are you talking about? It's like,
you invented it.
It's like trying to say Jeff invented Survivor for Barstool. Like I respect he's trying. Like I will give Klemmer credit. As Kirk and I said to him, dude, you try a lot. That's great. That's kind of what Dave asks. But to then sit there and say you're gonna quit, I go, you're gonna quit your dream job. He goes, I'll go hang with my cat in New Hampshire.
He did the thing. He's like, I've done enough. He's like, I can just sit back now. I've accomplished what I want to accomplish.
What does that even mean? This is
know.
exactly why I went with Rhea to the end and not Klemmer. I couldn't imagine being a week locked in the room with him. I hate you.
What?
This dinner thing that you did.
His ego got hurt here, Will.
Ego, disrespected. I was disrespected on a level I haven't been disrespected in 20 years. The dinner.
Wait, time out. The dinner after Surviving?
That you asked me on Saturday after Surviving. You're like, hey, you want to go out to dinner? I was like, yeah, all right, let's grab dinner. Then at the hotel, what?
Dave, I said, just like I was walking around the office, and Whit can attest to this, Kirk as well. I was like, hey, are we doing a dinner tonight? And you said, I'm down for dinner. You want to get dinner? And I was like, yeah, I'm down to do a dinner.
Okay, we're on the same page at this point.
And we were locked into a 6-person dinner under Francis's ticket like a month or two before that. Nobody, and wait, in that group chat, nobody responded. Nobody said nothing except for Ron was like, I love dinner. So I didn't know we were fully locked into the dinner. The Surviving thing went from Wednesday, then we recorded it to Tuesday. And all the dinner stuff kind of got like miscombobulated. I thought everybody's going to dinner. Then when I was talking to you, and then I find out we're also still doing the Francis dinner, I'm like, are we just not going to combine the dinners or make it bigger? And like, hey, you should talk to Francis. I go to Francis, like when you text me, hey, are we doing dinner or no? We're sitting down at the bar and I'm trying to find a landing bag. Hey, Francis, are we going to, clearly a lot of people want to go to dinner here. Are we going to try and get everybody together and do dinner? Or are we just kind of staying with our 6? And he locked us into some high-end restaurant to where he couldn't expand it. It seemed like he didn't want to move off that spot. So it was just like, all right, well, I'm committed to this dinner, so I'm going to do this dinner. That's when I texted you, hey, there's no dinner going on. Because Jeff's texting. I'm also talking with Kirk in the lobby. So we were all trying to figure out to do a bigger dinner. I was talking to Whit about, hey, are we going to do a bigger dinner? Just didn't seem like it was going to happen. So once I realized I was committed with the 6-person dinner, I just stayed doing that one.
There's no wiggle room? Whit's gonna contact you?
When I said the wiggle room thing, like I was like, hey, Francis, can I borrow you? Because he was in a conversation. I was like, hey, are we going to expand this dinner? Like Dave's asking about dinner. Jeff's asking about dinner. Like people want to go to dinner together.
He said, Francis said that did not happen.
Francis said that you never met.
And when I'm like reading his body language he seemed like he was getting stressed about calling the restaurant.
Francis said that didn't happen.
Hey, look, it's not a big deal. Like I'll just say we're not doing dinner, and then we can all meet back in the bar lobby or something.
Will came to me about you, Dave, and then I said it to Francis, and then he was kind of like panic mode. But then in the car, Will, I said, "What?" Remember in the car, I was like, "Is Dave coming?" And you were like, "He already ate," or he's eating or something.
No, I said I texted Jeff. I think Jeff or somebody said that it might have been Jeff was like Dave said he wasn't going to do dinner, like he was just going to order out or something like that. I was like, well, I texted him that we already were going to do dinner. Because Francis was like, Dave will be a great addition. But we were driving to the restaurant at this point.
Oh, I gotcha. I just don't know how it can't 6 can't turn into 7 at this restaurant. That's what I don't get. It's not like it's 6 turning into 20.
Yeah, I'm not, once I was reading his body language and it just didn't seem like it was going to work out, I kind of just didn't want to.
So is Francis lying,
everybody
confused.
Do what?
You can people hear me? You asked me at the office to do dinner. I was like, yeah, dinner.
I said, are we doing a dinner?
Can this group confirm that?
So you're saying, Dave,
dinner?
At that point, once Will said that,
that feels like a dinner invitation to me when somebody says that.
You're saying, Dave, at that point, Will should have backed out and gone to dinner with you.
No, when Will asked me to go to dinner, the response I'm expecting is, hey, I don't even know anybody else is going to dinner. I was walking. I didn't know the groups. I didn't know nothing. Will asked me, hey, are we going to do dinner? Yeah, let's do dinner. Then he says, then at the hotel, yeah, figuring out. I'll let you know. The next text being from Will, you're out. There's 6 with Francis. No wiggle room.
It does make you look like an asshole, kind of. You, Dave. You look pathetic. Yeah, it looks like you're almost like you're not invited to a birthday.
Honestly, I've never been more disrespected.
For the life of me, for the life of me, I've never gotten this dinner shit right with Dave Portnoy.
Well, because you're maybe the dumbest human. Like, you invited me to dinner.
I'm Jerry.
Dave, I'm Jerry. Dave, when I'm asking about dinner, like in my brain, I'm thinking, all right, every time we're doing some of this stuff, there's usually dinner happening. So when I was asking that, part of me was like, you're just going to tell me that, hey, there's this dinner happening.
Actually,
No.
Dave, leading from the front would have been all 16 of you guys that gave us a week of your time. I'm going to plan a dinner, and we're all going to go to a big old sit down and enjoy dinner.
I didn't even know who was staying, to be honest. Like, I asked Rico. Rico's like, I'm flying out that night. Like,
he was rage texting on that flight.
Oh, my God.
He was rage
so
texting.
angry.
All of us individually.
Oh, so pissed.
You almost got Francis fired.
Dave, now that you mentioned it.
For the dinner?
What do you mean for what? You blamed it on Francis.
Whit, do you understand the little puzzle I was in?
I don't, Whit. I don't really understand it.
Yeah, but I thought you said to Francis, like, Dave wants to come. I know I did, but I get what you're saying, that it was like 6. And I mean, I remember I was like, can we eat earlier? And then he called. He's like, can we move it up? They're like, no, it's packed tonight. Can't change anything. But I was so like just following.
So why, just curious, another one. Like, I've been in a situation, if like Nate calls up, I'm like, of course, come. I would never tell anybody. And if it's like, oh, we can't get that many, I'd just be like, all right, fine. We'll go to a different restaurant. It's a pretty big city. We can, like, to be told there's 6, to get invited to dinner when you're not even thinking about it by a guy, and then be sorry you're out. There's no wiggle room. It's like, what do you even, like, it's so
very weird.
Preposterous.
Yeah, my bad, man. Trust me. We left the dinner, and I'm like, man, it would have been great if Dave was with us. It would have been great if Dave was with us.
Took every ounce of I almost didn't text anybody about the game. I wasn't texting anybody. I was just like, I don't want to talk about this, because if Francis doesn't have the answer that I'm looking for, I'm going to fire him on the spot. Like, quite literally on the spot. If it came across to me, like, yeah, sorry, we had 6, Dave couldn't come, I'd be like, you're out. You're out.
Yeah, but that was never, that never made sense, though.
No, thankfully it's him, and I don't have to deal with him anymore.
That's true. You can't fire him.
Like, honestly, you don't know how to do dinner. It's so, I don't even, who invites somebody to dinner and it's like, you're out before they even.
You probably shouldn't have invited. Well, that probably wasn't your spot. That probably wasn't your spot.
Want to do dinner? All right, where are we going? I'll let you know in an hour. I'm sorry, you're out. There's no wiggle room. Whit will tell you why. It's like, what are you talking about? I was just staring at my phone. I wrote to him dead serious. That's a joke. I know that's not a real, like, what do you mean? There's no wiggle room for a big group? There's so many, and again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Like,
yeah, you are.
Yes, you are.
I can get in anywhere. What do you mean there's no wiggle room?
Right. Well, can I ask Will this?
My fault, man. I'm sorry. I see you're getting heated back there.
Let me ask Will this, because Dave thinks you should have lost your vote.
Definitely.
For texting Rhea in the game.
Yeah, look, I'm glad Jeff said whatever he needed to keep the vote alive.
Well, it wasn't even brought up. Like, I was in the game like that.
You didn't know about it?
No.
Yeah.
Jeff was telling me, he's like, they're thinking about taking
I didn't
all your
know.
vote.
I didn't like that wasn't proposed. Like, do you think we should strip his vote? That was never brought to me.
Oh, I got you. Jeff was telling me on the phone when it was all happening. He's like, they're thinking about taking away your vote, and I was like, oh man, that would suck, because that obviously wasn't my intention. The way she kind of filtered out my text message.
So who decided you got to keep it?
I'm not even sure.
They
and
said
Jeff was just like,
my
hey, you're also going
reaction
to be able
to
to
it.
vote.
But I had nothing to do with it. Like, I mean, obviously I knew he texted. You see it in the game when I figured out. But I mean, that was blatant cheating. That's a rule. I know what, like, we set it up to try to make the game fairer by not doing that based on last year. And he was so mad that I gutted him. He broke the rules. And by the way, you played the worst game. You and Keegs, 2 worst games. Most embarrassing games.
You're saying my game is the worst game?
You and Keegs. Why?
It just shows.
Why were you
it shows that you can't
Rhea?
watch the game when Mubi and Megan are sitting there at the end. Like if you're gonna say we got outplayed by Mubi, like that's the biggest load of shit.
That's the thing. You got to play aggressive, Dave. If you can sit around.
I'm saying why was he still helping Rhea the entire? Why was he so Team Rhea when Rhea's playing him like a fiddle? Right, that's what I mean.
That's weird.
No, Dave. Like the rivalry with you. Like once I learned the whole contract thing, like as I was going out, and we shook hands in the hallway, and you're like, I had a couple people that just couldn't win this game, and I was like, oh, I'll get it on the back end. When I walked up from there, I just stewed over it, and I was like, I got to get this cocksucker out of the game. I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try.
So it doesn't matter to you that I was truthful and never lied to you, and you got absolutely steamrolled by Rhea. Like if someone steamrolled me the way you got steamrolled, I would want them out most.
Which, by the way, you steamrolled me.
Who?
You.
I didn't steam. Time out. There's 2 things. All the comments like Dave. There's things like this sucks. Dave took all the girls. Every guy wanted me out. Maybe not Kirk, but all the others, like, I tried to. Whit, I offered you a chance to be like, do you want to play the game together? And you said no. After these 2 morons, him and Taylor and Biz didn't know what was going on. I'm like, let's go. They didn't want any part of me. It was obvious my only path to continue was the girls.
I couldn't sleep at night if I'd gone with you.
Right, exactly. So, like, I had no choice. Like, why didn't I keep more entertaining players or guys around? They all wanted to kill me. That clip when Rhea's like, you guys are all afraid of Dave, and you guys almost rioted in the back.
Well, and you keep talking about me getting steamrolled by Rhea. Like me coming into this game, I had like 2 alliances. It was Taylor was a natural alliance, and then Kirk was another alliance of mine. And if I was going to play a game that was when I got toward the end and Taylor was next to me and Kirk was next to me, you still needed something in the shadows that nobody might not realize. And so I tried making an alliance with Rhea because I understood that she had beef with you. I understood that she had beef with Dan. So I thought, okay, this is one that nobody might figure out if we're able to work together at some point in the end. Whether Rhea's playing such a good game, she thinks I'm allied with her, and then I'm going to go with Kirk or Taylor, or vice versa with any of those in that 4. So that was kind of the game I was playing. Whenever Dan came back to the house and said he was allied with Rhea, in my head I was like, okay, that one's going to take precedent over the one that I thought I might have had with Rhea. So it wasn't like I was just caught off guard. Like for me to win that game coming in as the winner from last year, that was going to be an impossible game to win.
She was your final girl. Will, you literally changed your wife's number. You thought it was Rhea. It was never Rhea. It was obvious it wasn't Rhea. And you still like, go Rhea. I don't get it.
I know the changing of the name is just, if somebody's like, hey, Will, who you text? I could just say my wife. Like if I'm trying to strategize, that game was going to be an impossible game for me to win as the reigning champion.
You actually at one point walked to her and you're like, can we flip and get Dan or Dave? I forget which one. And she's like, you're like, you don't have control yet to do it. And she's like, no, not yet. And then you're gone the next second. Like she was playing like a fiddle. And you walk out of the thing and you're like, you know who I'm rooting for. She put 38 knives in you and you rooted for her. I just don't get it.
I rooted against you. And that was my only win left because I knew Biz was done. Whenever us 3 left, I was like, oh, they're definitely getting Biz.
Is that why you didn't play the
and
key?
That was the only one with Dan and David sitting
at the very end.
I'm like, that's the only one I would root for to win.
Is that why you didn't do the key? Because you're like, Rhea will turn and the alliance is going to take effect now. Rhea's going to do something.
I was hopeful of that. Like when she's like, hey, talk to Biz. And I'm like, all right, this is really my only lifeline right now. And Biz and I were talking to Rico. Biz came and sat back down next to me after he voted and said, I kept my promise. And so I'm thinking in my head, like, all right,
Swahili
I guess Biz went Rico. Rhea must have went to Rico. Then she probably has Kelly. I didn't know. Like I never trusted Kelly the whole time. It's like I'm not rooting for Kelly to win. I knew she wanted to get Taylor.
You can criticize Will if you want.
They flipped the whole game. Like our team flipped on us going into that pink wedding.
You can criticize Will if you want. I'd much rather go out the way we went out, playing aggressive, than being like Megan or Moobs and just waiting to get your head cut off and having no chance.
Yeah.
Or me.
Yeah.
Or Whitney. Just sitting around watching golf.
I
I'd rather go out like just at least trying.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
like
the
I saw
pink
the
wedding.
Final
That's
Four and I
why
just
it's
started
a shit.
gagging myself in the bathroom. I was so sick.
The pink wedding was the game. That's what, after that, they didn't make the moves. And like I said, I think Will played the worst game and Keegs played number 2 worst game. Or interchangeable. Like Keegs' speech, I like watching how I'm getting dragged and doing this and not figuring out that you're out. Like you're out.
Yeah, but how are you
made
surprised by
out.
her speech? How are you surprised by her speech if she had already made it clear she was willing to die for Rhea? Like, obviously,
I think it's tough to be in the game if you like want somebody to win more than you going in.
Agreed.
That's very weird. I mean,
That's why the Rico stuff I don't get. I want Rico. I wasn't going to kill myself to like put Rico. And people want it both ways. Like Dan asked out. Well, like you want me just to kill myself? I'm not going to do that. I want to win the game.
I agree with you. No, it's crazy if you want somebody else to win. When Dan gave Rico those keys, I wanted to puke. Like I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah, hey, Dave, you could have still won the game if you would have gave a better speech.
No shot.
Oh, that's not true. Well,
no shot.
Dude, Dave, when
Kirk,
you were making it about
Dave
like
to
beating
the speeches.
Us and then saying you were going to spend the money, like you could have. Like I know you're sitting there watching. Like you could have won that game, in my opinion. You had the majority of the house before we walked in there. I swear to God.
No, you can go one by one. Would you ever vote for me? No.
No, I couldn't.
I would. No, you would not.
I wanted to. In my head, I'm like, Dave's played.
Kirk,
like,
there's nothing my speech could have done once Rhea and Dan fought. Once Rhea and Dan fought.
Oh, I thought you meant would I vote for you theoretically in a game? I definitely would.
But once Rhea and Dan fought, there's nothing I could have done. Whitney's never going to do it. People just couldn't stomach putting the big bad boss man's name on there. And Rhea was correct in that. The only people with integrity were Taylor and Biz who did the best. But I won the game.
Let me ask you this,
the whole thing. I was the best player.
Let me ask you this: Is Rico really your dog now? It could have come down to that vote. Theoretically,
he's not a rider. He is not a rider.
Though could have cost you the championship. He voted.
I'm not a rider. Of course, I'm a rider.
I don't think
you're not a rider.
He didn't. You didn't vote for you.
That was disappointing. He apologized right away.
Doesn't matter. So what? Who cares? He didn't vote when it comes down to it. He didn't vote for you.
I think he was so at the moment. He like just couldn't believe it was the one-way street of the immunity. And then Dave, when Rico said
Dan was never going to vote for me. There's not enough votes.
When Rico said at the reunion that you didn't even need to give him the immunity necklace, that you just needed to vote for Megan, it would have been 2-2, right? Like,
and then he's saying he could have pressured me in the revote.
I mean, Dave, if you make a move on Rhea, like somebody that everybody felt you were allied with the whole time, if you spin it on them toward the end, like you can win the game.
Yeah, but then they leave the company.
It's like if Rico would have took you out, he could have won the game. If Rhea would have
Rico needed to make a big move for sure.
That would have she'd have walked in with the house being like, okay, she
I would never at that point have, and Rhea said it. I would have never stabbed Rhea in the back at that point. Never.
Which is not the real Survivor game. That's the Barstool Survivor.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean,
Rhea, if Rhea
could have won by doing that.
If Rhea had given you,
but Rhea should have stabbed me in the back, and she didn't.
Well, I'm saying if Rhea had you,
I actually was smarter.
Why should she have done that? Her plan worked to perfection.
Because according to you guys, all right in the end, but according to you, which I don't believe, like I could have won.
What I'm saying is that the final one the final one.
I was going to say I don't disagree with Dave on that. Like if Rhea would have done it before, like by the time you're all sitting there and everything, like the dance stuff and everything like that, like it kind of all the votes went Rhea's way. But if Rhea makes the move on Dave before you even get to that point, like say she does it before we get there, she wins the game easy because the house is now with her. Going into that finale, a lot of the house, like even I was thinking like I should penalize Rhea for this whole thing because ultimately she butchered the entire thing. She thought that she would just walk in there, which she still is the champion. Again, we're kind of just talking in the back end. But if she walks in there thinking that everyone's just going to vote for her because they're not going to give Dave the money, at that point of the house, everybody was like, that is a massive mistake the way this game is going.
If we re-voted now, I would win, I think, easily.
Oh, Maybe. I'd vote for you now.
Maybe. All right, we're good.
Maybe I can't. I will never give you that. Especially, yeah, I would never give you that.
Yeah, I mean, I hate Will. I mean, he's a disrespectful human.
All right, Will, we'll talk to you.
You want to go to dinner? Sorry, you're out.
I love you guys, all three of you.
Let me ask one question, Whit, because I was trying to ask. So the part where the part where it got from 4 down to 3 and Rhea gave you the immunity to get to the final. If she chooses somebody else and you have to go one-on-one in that thing, was your shoulder bad enough? Like, would you have not been able to do that?
No, I would have been able to do that. And then I would have given probably a very different speech.
Yeah, better than Whitney would have anyway. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's what people don't get. I get what everyone's saying. And I think it's one of the, you can say it's good or bad about Barstool. Normal Survivor, nobody knows each other. Nobody has to see each other at the end. I rewatched it. I would do the same. I was never going to give a savage speech against Rhea at that. Not a million years with where her headspace is. She's too important to the company. And there's a difference. Like, I would do it to Whitney, and spit and chicklets is very important to the company. But I think I'm not worried about that lasting longer.
So there's the flaw within the game. If you want to make that argument, you will not deny that.
You could say it's a flaw, or you could say it makes it more interesting.
Makes it different. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. I get that. I think that's fair.
DraftKings, NFL playoffs. We're talking about NFL playoffs. You bet we are. Getting on, by the way, Whit, great speech. Your speech, I loved. It was so fucking good. Getting on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is the key to win the NFL playoffs. Key to you scoring big is bet on them at DraftKings, the number one place to bet touchdowns. I didn't think I'd be able to get Whit that mad during this game. That was a blessing.
Dan got me that mad. But you were part of it, but Dan got me that mad.
Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Here's another reason to watch your favorite players crush it in the playoffs. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big during the NFL playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code Unnamed. That's code Unnamed for new customers. Get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
I'd argue Dan might have played the worst game because he played it in a way that he wasn't able to control himself when things didn't go the way he wanted, and then he quit.
And if Dan hadn't quit, like if he hadn't gotten fucked up from everything, that would have been an electric ending, Dan versus Dave. Like that would have made the show a lot different coming down the stretch.
The guy did quit. Like, it doesn't get worse than that.
I think he really regrets it.
100%. Like Dan, the thing about, like, he was mentally broken. Like, he truly was. So, I mean, So was Rhea at the end. So, like, listen, that video that they put when Rhea's telling me what happened, and, like, I'm just like, that is basically what was in that house. So, yeah, I mean, Dan couldn't have had it gone worse. He hated how he went out and in the year before, and he came back and he was ready to go, and then, all hell broke loose.
And he was playing fucking well.
I don't think so. I think he was playing reckless.
He was playing too crazy at the beginning.
He was, I thought he was like super amped up, which is not how he is. So I think that.
Well, Dan talked to me after the reunion show, and he's like, I've thought everything back a million different ways. Had I ever known Dave would never, ever get rid of Mubi, she's new to the company, I just brought her in, then I would have never done what I had done. But I thought that he would be willing to get out Mubi, and once he told me no, I was dead anyways, and my brain was fucked up.
That is why Kelly Keegs being like dragging along. I picked the final. Moves is me. Like, Rhea wanted moves out. I'm like, we're keeping moves. Dan wanted moves out. I'm like, we're keeping moves. And it was perfect to keep moves.
Yeah, she was at 0. She wasn't going to do anything.
She was a lock. I knew I had. Now, in the beginning of the game, there's a point, like, I thought Rhea, for all I knew, Rhea hated me. I had no idea. They never put it in. I said 10 times in the confession, I'm like, this could be a Marty Mush revenge game. I have no idea. But as the game went, every single thing that Rhea was telling me was the truth. So I became totally 100% believed her. And in the beginning, whenever my name was mentioned, she would put it in the back burner. She's like, not yet, whatever, and keep me safe. So in that respect, when I say 60-40, that's what she was doing. Like,
well, you told me, you said she did the useless moves and you did the big moves.
Yes, I was. Yes. And she did the dirty work. She was the one, because people were gunning for me, and she kept being like, no. And I said it in the thing. I don't know why people just didn't be like, why does Rhea keep defending Dave? We got to get rid of Rhea. Yeah. That was crazy.
She is getting absolutely torched on Twitter. Rhea. I mean, destroyed.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about Twitter, Instagram, like Twitter is more Minifan world, and like she's probably getting a ton of love on like Instagram.
I think it's because she played the game ruthlessly and people don't like it. Like she played it. I have no problem with
people don't like the crying.
People hate
I agree with that. But that's just but like sure that's bad, but it doesn't have anything to do with how she played the game.
Rhea played in a great game. I think I played better than Rhea because I would say, and this is where people disagree, I had a huge target on my back coming into the game. Like people were gunning for me. Nobody came in gunning for Rhea. And I danced through with her help, but she was 100% right. People would not vote for me at the end, which I don't think I could play this game in my position better than I did, except if it was Klemmer next to me, because then I would have killed Klemmer at the end. But I wasn't going to kill Rhea.
So you can say Minifans all you want, and I know they can be tough, but like Dan's crack has been ruthless on social media with us this week too. So it's like, but like, bring it on.
Well, I mean, you guys initiated the entire fight.
Not true. He came up to me before and said, if you vote me out, it'll affect our friendship personally. So I said, okay. If we're going to play that way, we'll play that way. I wasn't going to play that way. And now he's on this apology tour like he's,
Well, this is crazy. This is like he's the son of Sam. The way the media is running. And
I totally disagree with that. I see a lot of blue checkmark people being like, I don't see anything wrong with that. I see
Darren Ravel, you and Darren Ravel have a problem with it. You and Darren.
Dave, I don't have a problem with it.
Kirk and Darren sitting in the tree.
I don't have a problem with it. You're the one, according to Dan, who sat down with him and said, keep it quiet years ago. Not me.
Yeah, so, Dave, why did you...
Why
did you think
I don't know.
That was the play then?
To be honest, I don't recall that convo, but I'm sure if he's like, should I say right off the bat? I'm like, probably not. Just go. He was in Chicago. It was never a big deal to me. Like I would have revealed it at any point.
I don't think from the beginning it would have been a big deal to anyone. And if it was,
I don't think it's a big deal either. He thinks it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal.
Listen, Kirk Minahan will see a guy walking with a little like open wound, and he'll take a stick, burn it, put red ants on it, and stick it into that wound and just keep going. All Kirk did was saw his weak spot, what gets him, and he went out. It's not the issue. It's not what it is. It could have been anything. It could have been he committed a murder. It could be he has dyslexia. Whatever bothered Dan at this point, Kirk was going to find it and stick a stick. The issue itself is such a non-issue to me, and to see the Darren Ravels coming out of the world.
Well, I think, let's be honest, if you found out Big Ev was a Michigan fan until he was 16 or 17, you would crucify him for 3 years on social media.
No, well, here's the difference. I've known Dan grew up where he grew up, and people have known that. Why he got so defensive, that's his head issue. But
I'm just saying, you would, if it was somebody else, like, I actually think it's not a big deal, but I do think it's weird that the biggest sports podcast in the world has kind of built a persona around something that at its core isn't quite true.
See, I disagree with that. I think he rooted for them growing up based on what he says his uncle. No,
he didn't root for them growing up. That's not true. We've seen the pictures of him, like he had the Tom Brady picture on him.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest part of all of this is the fact that.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
You can root for. He said root for both.
Okay, what's that?
And then you go to Chicago.
Sure.
I mean, the biggest part of all of it is that this poor bastard stopped rooting for Boston as we became the greatest sports city in the planet.
Well, he got 3 titles. He got 3 Patriots titles and a Red Sox championship. So, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could tell Dave doesn't.
It's a non-issue, like absolute non-issue to me. And anybody, first of all, everyone basically knew. Outside in Barstool world, at least, it's like a secret that he just didn't like talk about, but he had talked about.
Nate joked about the 20th anniversary. People knew. That's what I said to him. I said to him, I was like, "This will be a good thing for you." Like it's literally like he wrote ripping the band.
If he just said right off the bat, and he's a different guy. In one confessional, I think I said I could probably use a little more what Dan has, which is caring what people think.
You have it now, bro.
Oh, you sure
You
did.
used to not give a fuck.
No.
Now you really have.
No.
You didn't give a fuck about anyone's feelings ever. Dave.
And no, you're just wrong.
Dave, play this out. Okay, so instead of hold on, instead of Mubi and Rhea, Whitney and I are on your team. We're in the game. I get a text from Will, and it says, "Hey, go get Dave, get his throat." And I start weeping and wailing. And Whitney comes in, and you walk in, and Whitney is hugging me, consoling me while this is going on. I think you might find it a little stranger than when Mubi and Rhea.
100%.
Hey, Gay Pat's with us too, Kirk.
Hey, 100%. 100%.
You wouldn't have been that way 8 years ago.
No, that's not fucking true.
You told Rhea she was going to be like ugly when she's 50 a couple of years.
Rhea burst into a live radio show. Here's a different example. Listen. I'm running a company that I need employees who don't want to kill themselves and want to leave the company. So You want to go back to Jenna Marbles back in the day. We had videos of her being an absolute piece of shit cocksucker. She didn't know she was being recorded. Never saw the light of day. Never did. I treat people differently. I've said I treat people differently from day one. I don't treat everybody the same. I never have. I'm running
Dave,
a company.
Guys,
if I had... No, even that to a degree, Whitney, I've been like, once I don't think, I said it to Smitty when he came out of the shower in Philadelphia. I'm like, okay, you can't like bust balls. Like, I'm not comfortable like being myself around you. So I just won't even like interact really. Like that, I'm comfortable with you two and know I can do whatever. But that doesn't mean people want like me to be surrounded. Like we'd never have gotten out of milk. Like I treat people differently based on their personalities. I always have.
Okay, people within the company then. Whereas outside the company, you were savage to anyone. And that's changed a little. I think obviously there's shit that's happened in your life where I get it. Like there's hit pieces and all this stuff, and you've become so big that when you start chirping people, it's just way bigger news. So it's natural, but like you were savage before.
Yeah, but I still look at everything, whether people want to believe or not, like as I'm running the company. Like, so if I think it's going to damage the company, damage the bottom line, make things harder, not even for me, like I have to run this company and people want contracts. Like I factor that in on when I'm going to like, and sometimes I have to bite my tongue or do whatever, or treat people like differently. So yes, Rhea said it in the game. She's like, I would have killed. And I asked her at the reunion, I'm like, would you have held me? Like, would you have been like, hated my guts and treated me bad, like different, would have hurt our relationship if I backstabbed you? She's like, yes. Like, so that's what I thought. And we know personal relationships, you see what happened, not just me and her, but a lot of personal things. So it's not worth the risk to fuck up chicks in the office and our relationship for what? My ego? I don't care about the money. It's like I made it as far. So yeah, things 100%. If I'm with you guys at the end, I act differently. I asked Ryan Whitney if he would play with me after the merge. He said fucking no.
But you would have got me anyway.
Right. I would have got you, but I would have lied and tried to like go far and then embarrass you.
But your point is if you stab Whitney in the back or me in the back, we'd be mad, but then we wouldn't be mad a month later.
I just don't think it's crazy for you to say you got $200 fucking million. Like you're a different person.
He can go into any restaurant Chicago he wants with. He can do it.
I'm just trying to say how crazy it is not to get wiggle room for one person. Well, they treated me like I was fucking Nate.
Your best point is like, I don't know. If I had a reservation for 6 and a bunch of my friends, you and other people, I'd say, all right, well, if it doesn't work, we're fucking.
You don't even have to ask.
We're just going to a different restaurant. Like,
it's crazy. It's the most disrespectful thing that's happened to me in 20 years.
But you're blaming it on. But it seems like there is maybe a Francis element to this, though. I don't know.
Well, Whit, you said you did tell Francis it was me?
I was like, is Will had mentioned, is Dave coming to dinner? I was like, hey, Francis, I think Dave wants to come. And all of a sudden, he's fucking panicking around. Like, really, like, truthfully, like, oh, my God, Dave wants to come. I thought he was flying out right after. And then Will said he's already ate or he went to dinner. I mean,
Yeah.
I was there throughout this, totally like passenger wise. But when Francis found out that you like wanted to eat dinner, he was like everyone else during the pink wedding, like just like panicking.
And just to reiterate, Will Compton asked me to go to dinner. That's what who asked somebody and then kicks them out.
Well, Francis brought something up, and then you brought something up, and then he said, "I don't know if we could talk about this." Now he talked to me about this, said, "Don't say anything," but can we talk about this book?
He's probably not going to be involved in it now, Francis.
Really?
What is it?
Yeah.
So, well, why?
What book is it? What is it?
Francis is going to write Dave's autobiography, which I think
he was till he fucked me at dinner.
Dave, don't be dumb. I think it would be unreal. I think it'd be really good. I do. You don't, Dave?
Well, I'm the one who well, no. What happened was,
how can he trust him to meet up if he can't?
Because there's a book out there right now about you.
yeah, that had nothing to do with that.
Oh, I'm authorized.
Yeah. So I always have been approached by a book. We have UTA. So a story of Barstool-ish, like through my lens, we had kind of started. And then Francis randomly is like, "Can I write your book?" He's like, "Have you ever thought of writing a book?" So I'm like, maybe we can get it collab and get him involved. Mm-hmm. And then I got a text from Will Compton being like, "Francis said you're out for dinner. There's no wiggle room."
You can't do it. I mean, think of it, Whit. Dave doesn't want to meet for lunches, for meetings. How can he trust Francis to do that?
Don't do this.
You can't do it.
This. You need somebody. You need somebody that like knows what you're like to write this book. This book is going to be an enormous seller. Francis is a great writer.
So Tommy's
a great pick.
Oh
Reliable.
yeah, Tommy's a fucking sick.
Tommy's a great writer.
I had dinner with Tommy the other night. That night, and you know what? We had dinner together. He invited me to dinner. We ate together. You can trust him. Tommy is the pick.
Let me just. I just want to 1 second here. Read this exchange again.
Or Klemmer.
So, are we doing a dinner or no? This is after he invited me. 6:47. About to talk to Whit to figure out what's going on. Just checked into the hotel. Okay. And so an hour and 15 minutes later from Will, no dinner. Francis has locked into a reservation a few weeks ago. No wiggle room.
That is taking a shit in your mouth, really.
It's unbelievable. I responded.
Will.
I responded. Ha ha ha. There's literally negative infinity chance that's a real text. He goes, ha ha. Whit will tell you. Never.
Tommy would have been the bus boy. Tommy would have been the bus boy at the dinner before.
You got it done.
I had literal steam coming out of my ears. I was so mad.
That's great.
I was so fucking mad.
Isn't it a win though? Don't you kind of just want to eat by yourself in the hotel after that thing? Do you really want to go?
I had already ordered. I was already eating by the time because he didn't get back to me for an hour and 15 minutes. It didn't matter. Right. That's why I didn't tell him I was eating. The disrespect.
The idea of it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't get that, Whit?
Oh, I get how he's fuming from this. I get it completely. I just don't think it's on Francis.
Imagine getting invited to a dinner and then the guy who invites you is like, "You're out."
You're out. Like just pigeon tossing you. It's
like you asked me to go to dinner. And then he's so stupid. He's like, "I didn't ask you. I just saw you in the office." And then I was like, "You want to go to dinner tonight?"
You were there, Whit. You were there. Like, was it
the best part? The funniest part about the dinner was, and I don't remember who said it. Biz was across. I think it was Biz. He's like, "How great would it be if Dave was at this dinner?" Everyone's like, "I know, fuck, it would have been classic."
To add a chair to that where you were, was it like that inflexible?
No, I mean, I think you can add a chair to any table in the world.
Any table, that's quite literally in the world.
I mean, 6 to 7.
We could have got him a little like baby chair, baby seat.
Oh, Jesus!
It's the most disrespected probably I've ever been. So
anything else from surviving? Now it's finally over.
It's over.
It was ugly. It was brutal.
Dave, do you think it lived up?
Oh,
I mean, everyone's complaining at the end. Listen, you can't but they complain. Everyone complains about everything, right? It had big numbers. In the beginning, it's like, they're so stupid. They're not getting out the alphas. We wipe out the alphas. Where's the alphas? Where'd they go? You can't. It's Survivor. That's the game. And a lot of times, even Real Survivor does it hits its crescendo. And then when the big team makes the move, it does sort of. Now,
it must get quiet, right? In Survivor?
Yeah, it can, because it's like you don't. Now, Rico, Megan, and Kelly, dummies. Maybe not Rico. Rico would have made a move, but the other two just stupid. It was so obvious who the alliances were, and they never did anything. So, but overall, listen, people, it got very personal, too personal. Kirk is Kirk. Rhea and Dan, like, I do think, like, Rhea's rant on Dan trying to control her was not like, Dan just wanted out of the game. Dan was just like, let me get out of here with my limbs intact. I don't think he was intentionally trying to, like, control Rhea. But, you know, I knew going in, you can only play this game so many times before we don't have a company.
Dave called me on the way to the airport. I'm like, oh, I answered. He's like, what the hell was that with Kirk and Dan? I'm like, he got out. Dan got him out.
Because I didn't know. Like, I was clueless on what, like, outside of you got eliminated, which I think is basically what happened.
Yes. You called me that morning as well. You're like, I didn't know you hate Dan. I'm like, well, he got me out, and he said to me, like, I'll take this. He said he would take it personally, so I took it personally. And then you were like, you said this to me. You said he's not like me and you.
Correct.
Which I think Dan would say. Like, he's just like you and I.
Totally.
You could fucking say anything to me. I literally don't care.
The difference between me and you is you then will equate that to everybody should be like that. Where I'm a normal human and can realize I'm talking to Kirk, Kirk's talking to me. Even Whit, like Biz, Taylor, Will. And then there's people who aren't like that, who take things more personally.
As I said to Dan after the reunion, though, that's on him because he knows I'm insane.
Which I think made his move on you that much more, like, impressive at the time, because he knew what was coming. But then I think once you walked off and said Newton, he's like, it just, like, hit him, like,
yeah, it was a kill shot.
I knew this was coming, but now it's the tidal wave is ashore.
Yeah. Kirk was Kirk. It's hard, and I said that to Dan too. I was like, he's predictably unpredictable. Like, we can't whoever Kirk deemed the guy who I not really got him out, because I got you out. Like, Dan didn't want to, but I never said anything to you. Like, you knew I was gunning
face to face. I had no problem with that.
Which is crazy that you didn't vote for me when I didn't tell one lie the whole fucking game and still made it to the end. It's crazy.
You played a great game and you finished in second place. And congratulations to you for that.
Because people just, like, Whit's face when I came in, like, oh.
I was just like, I saw the Compton jersey. I just fucking lost it. Inside, I lost it.
And the quotes, he owns you. Even Taylor's like, oh my God, he owns you now, Will.
Yep.
Well, would you let those guys play next season if we do it again?
I don't know.
Because your reasoning was...
So have they announced anything?
Well, I mean, no, but everybody knows they're leaving, right? No?
Yes, based on the way we're talking right now. Well, I want to let them announce it.
Well, it's out there. I think they've said that, I think, haven't they?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well,
you just said it.
Okay, well, 7 months from now when we're playing the game again or whatever, they won't be with the company probably. So would that affect them?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Anything new with anybody else coming, going?
No, I mean, I think, well, again, I want to let them say it. They'll say it.
They'll do their thing. It's different.
So we lost Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
We lost those guys. I think that's it. And you know, it sucks. Like I told Bussin, I made what I would say was my most aggressive move to keep them. Like I really, 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 and when we played the game, by the way, I thought they're staying.
I remember you talking to me about that then. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I thought they were staying. But this is the world that we're in, really, and we've been in. Whether it's Jenna Marbles, Cooper, McAfee, them, Caleb, they're getting. There's always more value for a company taking talent than already here. But like they got they're like the Carabas times a million. Good for them. They got an offer that was so big.
Good.
It's like I can't, and they said, they're like, listen, we go out, and this is almost everybody who leaves Barstool says, when they leave, you better make us an offer that isn't even close to what they are, because we want to stay. Like Will wants to stay, Taylor wants to stay, they want to do, but people, it's a compliment to Barstool. These people just pillage us. They can't build people up, they can't make the stars. It's Saturday Night Live, we make stars, and if we paid those guys what they wanted, and we paid Cooper what we wanted, and Mac, we'd have no company. It just wouldn't.
Right.
We don't.
So
make
those other companies, no matter how great that show is, like they're taking a bath on them.
Bath.
So in their mind, it's a lost leader, right?
But where these are, I don't know, billion-dollar companies, 100 million. Like they're, it's like the NFL, a team like. I was willing to pay them money that we would have been losing money. Like there's no way we would have made money. And then it went so far over that it's like we'd be losing tens of millions of dollars, basically. It's like, I can't do that. So it makes it easy when the offer from our bottom line. Now, maybe these companies have different models, but I talk to everybody like, hey, does this makes to try to cobble it out? I talk to our sales. If we pay this, how much are we losing? Like, we're going to take a bloodbath. So it just can't work. So it sucks, but that's it. And you look at, and I'll let them say whether it's an underdog, like a Prize Picks, a fan. These gambling companies are operating still, losing millions and millions and millions. They don't care. Like, right. So we can't go like, oh, we're going to lose 100 million this year. It's like you can't do that. So it really sucked. I made, like Caleb, I didn't care nearly as much. Like at one point with the Caleb negotiations, like you should go. Like, because how much, and you're not involved in any of our content. Sunday Conversation, home run, big hit. But like these guys were involved with us. So yeah. I did everything. I really tried. And I am disappointed. It's the first time I'm really like, that hurts.
Yeah.
And I think they feel the same way, to be totally honest.
It seems like obviously the door's open, though, whatever, 2, 3, if they want to come back.
Yeah, I've never had problems. Like I said, the people who have left, they've gotten such overwhelmingly great offers. I actually think it speaks to like when we try to get new people, it's like, look at the people who are here are doing great, but look at the people who have left. They're getting these monster deals. So the Barstool effect works. It's what we tell people when you come in. There's no way I could ever begrudge them. I would take their deal probably too if I was in their shoes. It's just so much fucking money. So good for them.
Would have held up that dinner invite though.
Yeah, that's the thing that you can't bring it back after this dinner.
Honestly, that's been the worst part of it, is that they're not under contract when this dinner thing happens. So I can't like torture it. It's like, not only is this like Will's too stupid, he doesn't even realize he sort of got the last laugh by being a total cocksucker.
Yeah, it's true.
Like he couldn't
not even on purpose. I don't think either.
No, definitely.
I know he unintentionally, by just being an absolute fucking like caveman mutant with no basic manners, disrespected me on a level that like honestly I wanted to kill somebody far more than anything that happened in the game.
How about at the end when Kirk's like, I'm winning this fucking game, and I went up to him after, I was like, I don't think you're ever winning this game.
I'm winning the game. I'm winning next year. I am winning next year.
He's like, keep thinking that.
I'm playing next season, and I'm winning next season. I get the whole.
I'd love to do an All-Stars, but I don't know whether we could get people back. Like, imagine getting Cooper, McAfee, like all these X's back in there. God. I don't think they'd ever do it. But.
Oh, do you like half and half or something?
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think they'd do it.
Because the game's so savage?
Yeah, and it's like they're so big and huge. You want to go like Alex Cooper, you want to come live in a fucking.
I know, but like, look how much more. I mean, I don't know. When you're in it, though, it's so fucking great.
I fucking did not think it was great.
Oh, really?
But that's because I was so lost and I had no clue.
You have fun like doing the challenges and like.
I had fun like hanging with everyone, but like once the game's getting going, I'm like, buddy, yeah, I'm on another plane. I'm watching the President's Cup. It's 5-0 USA. And there's a key 2 feet from me.
What do you want to do time wise for this show now that Surviving?
Go back to the normal.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. What? Yeah.
Yeah, once a week.
As opposed to what? Every week? Like as opposed to what?
Once every 2 weeks. So we let like stuff build up. I don't care.
I don't mind doing it. Let me talk to sales with how much that matters, because I don't mind being like, oh, we have stuff, do it this week. There's nothing, no point to do it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. But
I don't know the rhythm of them selling it, whether they can do it that way.
Okay.
All right. We're good otherwise? Anything else, Dave? Whit?
So you're having Big Cat on your show.
Big Cat is coming home.
So that, like, to be honest, all that stuff hurt me. Like the Big Cat, because
I could tell when Kirk was talking, that camera went to you and you were just like, what is going on right now?
Because I know Dan, and honestly, like he's, from his perspective, the amount of work, and nobody works harder, and the amount of effort and everything just to be dragged into, it's like, for what? Like so I got his point of view. That was hurting me. Yet at the same time, I know Kirk. It's like I wasn't totally shocked, but it sucked.
I'm glad.
I was getting messages.
That's the best thing I've heard so far. Thank you, Dave.
I've got some messages like, how did you not back up your friend Big Cat? He's done so much for you. I was like, I fucking despised Dan at the time. And obviously, like a week later, I'm like,
Dave, you know the text people within the game who are like, that was fucking great. Still, that was fucking great. That was fucking great. So somebody has to be the guy who goes and does it. You know,
that's you, baby.
The crown is heavy. The crown is heavy. But I don't know what to say. Like, I think we'll be fine now. You know, it was ugly, but the game's ugly. That's the game.
I wasn't ugly. I didn't tell a goddamn lie. I told everyone to their face, you're next. And I didn't get them. It's crazy. I didn't get the vote. To be me, have everyone like, I want Dave. These guys fist fighting on the panel when they're like, nobody would go for Dave. Like, that's all we wanted. And I took them all out one by one, telling them I was doing it not to win the vote. I don't know how I can play any better. I don't.
Didn't win, didn't get invited to dinner. The biggest loser in the game. Dave Portnoy.
All right, back, I guess, Thursday. We'll talk to you then.
All right.
Bye.
See you.